They scan your head like you're a cashier and I'm a bunch of bananas. I'm not bananas, you are.
That's not really funny to people who've lost their kids to this vaccine. How dare you be so flippant, man?
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this again in my show next week, teasing.
Almost 3 years ago, Bill Maher made it clear he was frustrated. In his view, media coverage of COVID had crossed from caution into constant panic. While much of the country focused on worst-case scenarios, Maher pushed a different message. Adapt, be careful, but don't let fear run your entire life. He argued that society couldn't remain frozen forever. To him, it was about resilience and balance. But critics saw it differently. For some, even suggesting a return to normal life sounded irresponsible. The backlash came quickly and loudly, and that's when Whoopi Goldberg stepped in.
Everyone knows Corona is no walk in the park because you literally can't walk in the park. But at some point, the daily drumbeat of depression and terror veers into panic form. Enough with the life will never be the same headlines. And stop showing us this. You know, everything looks scary when you magnify it 1,000 times. Here's a pubic hair. Boom!
Goldberg didn't hold back. She challenged Maher's comments and questioned the tone of his message during a serious global crisis. But here's where things took an unexpected turn. Instead of Maher being widely condemned, many viewers sided with him. A sizable audience felt he was expressing frustrations they'd been quietly holding in. Suddenly, the criticism aimed at Maher began circling back toward Goldberg. Even ABC, the network behind The View, eventually suspended Whoopi for 2 weeks following a separate controversy, signaling that public reaction matters, even in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Maher leaned into the debate, and if there's one thing he's known for, it's standing firmly by his opinions.
Not really funny to people who've lost their kids to this vaccine, or people who've lost family members or dear friends to this. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants this. And I think he's forgetting that people are still at risk who cannot get vaccinated. People who can't get it. Little kids under the age of 5. Yeah. Or people with health conditions. How dare you be so flippant, man?
Goldberg has long positioned herself as a strong moral voice on television. But in this situation, critics argue that her attempt to call Maher out backfired. Instead of cornering him, she found herself under increased scrutiny. It became one of those classic reversals, when the person leading the charge ends up facing the consequences. But the story didn't stop there.
Saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Then came the moment that sparked even greater controversy. Goldberg stated on air that the Holocaust wasn't fundamentally about race, but rather about human cruelty, a claim that triggered immediate backlash from historians, Jewish organizations, and viewers worldwide. Many felt the statement misrepresented historical facts. The outrage was intense. ABC responded with another suspension, and the conversation shifted from political debate to historical accountability. Instead of calming the situation quickly, Goldberg initially defended her position, which only fueled more criticism.
Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Now here's what caught many people off guard. Maher, who had every opportunity to publicly attack Goldberg, chose not to. He stayed consistent with his long-standing belief. Free speech includes the right to say things that may be wrong. He didn't defend the historical inaccuracy, but he also didn't demand cancellation. He argued that debate, not silencing, is the healthier path. Supporters pointed out that if the roles were reversed, Maher might not have received the same level of grace. And that's where the larger conversation about cancel culture resurfaces. Is accountability applied evenly?
American experience tends to be based on skin.
Yes. And so that is what race means to me. When you talk about being a racist, I was saying you can't call this racism. This was evil. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. They had to delve deeply to figure.
Eventually, The View invited Maher onto the show, officially to promote his book. But many suspected there was more to it. Viewers wondered if the appearance would turn into an ambush, a chance to challenge him directly on live television. However, Maher didn't walk in unprepared. When questioned, he calmly explained why he refuses to align himself with what he sees as performative outrage or ideological conformity. He clarified that is not anti-progress, is against a culture where disagreement is treated as harm. The exchange was tense but controlled. He didn't shout. He didn't retreat either.
Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Maher looked the host directly in the eye and unapologetically laid out his reasoning. He criticized what he views as excessive virtue signaling and selective outrage. It wasn't about rejecting progress, he said. It was about rejecting a climate where alternative opinions are punished rather than debated. The host pushed back, but they couldn't trap him into a damaging moment. Maher didn't just offend himself. He reinforced his identity as independent and blunt.
I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
I didn't say ruining anything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
that's why Trump could get reelected.
Any doubt that I was right about change that's happened in the left? Watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas? That straightened me up pretty quick.
At the end of the day, this saga isn't just about Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg. It represents two competing worldviews playing out in public. One side prioritizes accountability and sensitivity. The other prioritizes open debate and resilience against offense. Millions of viewers are watching and choosing which perspective resonates with them. And knowing both of these personalities, this story probably isn't finished yet.